EP4 Midwest Guys presents Mandalorian Review.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 4 Midwest Guys Presents The Mandalorian Review. We made it to Season 2, Episode 4, Chapter 12, and no Ahsoka.
Sure.
I thought it was called The Siege.
It is called The Siege, but for a lot of fans out there, it might have been like, this is the week, and there were people going, yes, it's definitely going to happen, or no, it's definitely not going to happen. I was leaning more towards the yes, but apparently those who said no were brighter than I was and smarter than I was and knew a little bit more, and it was all about the build-up. But this episode was still really, really good. I don't know, what do you guys think, just like a non-spoiler like we've been kind of doing the last couple weeks?
It was good. It was a fun episode. It was
Yep.
nice return.
Yeah.
And then, nice little side quests. I mean, I think it's what I like about the show is like how they make the side quests tied into everything in the grand scheme.
Yeah, because it definitely drove the main story along and deepened it even, and added more to it as they were doing their quest.
Well, yeah, like they use it to build on the world and build on the ultimate like story they're building up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, what do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean it's got Easter eggs, it's got
Yeah.
stormtroopers, it's got vehicles,
You got spaceships,
space. It's only missing the
the
lightsaber.
lightsabers. Yeah,
Lightsaber, yeah, was the only thing missing. The lightsaber. Well, that's a spoiler alert, but hey, no lightsabers in this episode.
I don't know if that's so much a spoiler as it is like just don't expect a lightsaber.
Don't expect a lightsaber in this one. Although I kind of spoiled it when I said no Ahsoka in this one, so sorry guys. But anyway,
Sure.
let's talk about this from this point on. It's spoiler alert because this whole thing is we're going to dissect it here as always. So let's talk about the first scene. Baby Yoda, maybe not your best engineer, at least not quite yet. Or maybe he doesn't understand his colors quite yet, or he does understand his colors but doesn't understand about how
Don't
to
connect the
switch
colors.
them up. Or,
I thought it was pretty funny. He's like,
yeah.
the red wire, yes. Put it where the blue wire was, and he pulls the blue wire. He's like, yeah,
Right.
no. Put the other one in. He's like, but don't let him touch. And he's like,
It was hilarious, and a lot of guys online, and I agree with them. It reminded them of Groot, the baby Groot scene from Guardians 2, where he's like, "Don't touch the death button." That's that one. No.
yeah, Groot.
It's just see, he can write comedy.
He
this
can.
is this we when he does comedy, he does it well.
He does it well. It was, and Baby Yoda was used well. Even he was still a stinker in this one, but he wasn't.
He's just
wasn't over the top.
he just loves
He
eating.
He seemed a lot more animated in this one than he has in the past episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not so much I would say he was a bystander in the last couple episodes, but he hasn't been used as
Well,
much.
we see Mando
I'm saying in general, like he seemed as more of a prop than he was a character.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of the other episodes we've seen where he sits still and he turns his head or raises his hand. In this one, he's jumping up and down and
Right.
he's reaching for the cookies or whatever. Spoiler, whatever.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like he seemed more interactive, more as a character than he has been.
yeah,
just
because
a-
they actually allowed him to interact more with the characters, and like you were saying, like there's like even after this scene with the wires, like he's sitting there having a drink with them,
Yeah.
like in the cargo hold. So yeah, like they're sitting there like he's having like actual dialogue with Baby Yoda or the child or
Right. Yeah. He is very much more animated, and I think that just makes the show better. I mean, anytime they animate work with him. So, then I like the soup scene even too. Where we finally get to see how Mando at least drinks soup anyway with his mask on, where a little tilt back, kind of take a drink, put it down.
And even still, you didn't see any skin of his face or his
No.
chin or anything.
No,
Like they angled that well.
Kind of like tilt this up and then, yeah.
It's like they were in real control of the angles on this episode, weren't they?
Except for one shot.
Except for one shot. We'll get to that later. I hope you have that ready to be pulled up.
I don't, but Mr. Aikenbauer maybe can help us with that one. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I do have that, don't I?
When you get a chance, Brian. You know, big deal.
What's in our? I think it's in our text string.
But what we did find out, though, is that they're postponing their trip. They're going to stop at Navarro for repairs because the ship still sucks. It's still
The Mon Calamari can't, build anything to save your life.
Yeah.
Well, we even hear like the sound effect of the stalled hyperdrive right at the beginning.
Hyperdrive, yeah. It's just directly from the Falcon. That. Yeah, I can't do it, but anyway. Nor will I try again ever.
Which, from what I remember, I remember looking that up. That's like a 1917 engine stall or something like that.
Yeah, leave it to Ben Burt, the ultimate sound mixer. He's the man when it comes to finding, who would ever thought that, a lightsaber would be, just a mic against a speaker.
Like a wrench hitting a tension wire.
Right, is your blaster sound, right? So he's the master of that. But yeah, he mixed that with, God, I used to know this. But you're right.
Pull him up.
He mixed it with other things though. But yeah. He's the man. I mean, he's the absolute man when it comes to sound effects.
And even then, what was it? His sound effects for Raiders, he was only given one note, which was hyper reality. I'm just gonna go into my little nerdy moment real quick.
Yeah.
Because Indy's handgun isn't the sound of a handgun. It's a 12 gauge Winchester rifle and a Civil War cannon mixed together. So
Ben's the man.
Yeah, because it's not a handgun. So when his handgun goes off, it feels like a freaking explosion.
It's a cannon.
Yeah, it literally.
But yeah, so our trip to Ahsoka has been postponed, so we're moving on though. So the next scene, we find that Cara Dune is now a marshal of Navarro, and she's taken on. She's in the former Mando covert. The covert's gone. The armor's gone. The signet of the mythosaur is gone from the wall, and
except for like a little shadow or whatever was there.
Yeah, whatever was, you can see the shadow of it or whatever from on the wall, but everything's gone, and it looks like a bunch of Aqualish have taken over. Aqualish thieves.
Is that what they're called?
That's what they're called, believe it or not.
I've just been calling them Snaggletooth.
Now, did they take over, or were they just ransacking the place? 'Cause I thought they were ransacking.
That's what I thought too. They were just kind of ransacking everything, or just kind
it
of
looked
thieves.
Well,
they were just thieves taking stuff out of the place.
I was assuming that they were there to stay only because they're getting ready to cook dinner. That was the only thing that kind of led me down that path. But I mean, it's possible that they were there just to ransack it. But
yeah, because it really seemed like they were there taking all
the coins, because
even she had to clean up off the table.
Yeah, but she said she was going to give them back from the people they'd stolen. So I thought they were using it as a hideout for thievery, and then she found them. I don't know. That was just my take anyway. But if you the Aqualish though, if I'm pronouncing that right, hopefully I am. Star Wars fans can yell at me later. If you might recognize these guys. They are, if you remember, Ponda Baba from the original Star Wars, going all the way back. There he is, from the bar. They're the same species, though he was an Aqualish as well. So that, except these tend to speak English or common rather than their normal.
I just heard walrus the whole time. That's all I heard.
Yeah, so that's what they're kind of called jokingly, as the walrus people.
He's like, I'm a walrus. I'm a walrus too. I'm a walrus.
Gerald, off. Because they're now part of the Disney universe.
Well, yeah, that's true. They are now part of Disney, so why not? A little crossover for you.
Finding Mando.
they do the Mando thing like walrus, ba ba bom, walrus.
But yeah, so for those of you wondering who they are, that's exactly who they are. So there's a nice little throwback from Mr. Dave Filoni to the rest of the world. That it is. He recognizes that it's a big world, but it's also a small world in some ways. There's your Disney tie-in. One other thing I did notice that didn't happen in this scene, at least they didn't show it, but it was in the artwork, is that little ferret that she rescues actually breathes fire. So if you look at this artwork here from it, he shows him burning one of the guys. And the funny thing is they so this is an editing thing and another editing thing, because they actually show one of these guys hitting the ground and his face is kind of melted from being on fire, I guess. But
I guess maybe Disney deemed it was probably too graphic,
too graphic maybe, or they cut it out, I don't know, but it looks like originally this guy is supposed to breathe fire, which would have been pretty damn cool in my estimation. But man, you might be right, Disney might have put the brakes on that one.
Which is funny because I just read today they've approved an R-rated Deadpool 3.
Yeah, with new writers though. So I'm like,
well, we'll see. But the writer did Bob's Burgers, so.
Oh, is that who it? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so
we
like
might be all
that
right
could
then.
work there. There's some good comedy right.
I didn't hear it was him, so okay. Her.
Yeah.
Sorry. So Mando returns to Navarro, and I love when the Razor Crest lands, and it's the ultimate bucket of bolts, and even the damn ramp doesn't come down all the way.
He's got to jump off the ramp to get down.
It's like getting out of the Dukes of Hazzard. You got to get out the window. The car door doesn't open. It was pretty funny though. I thought a nice little funny thing. I don't know.
It's like that car you pull up behind at the drive-through, and they have to open their door to have to change through because their window doesn't work, and they smack the building with the door.
Right? Exactly. Well, it reminds me of my grandpa who had a Pinto, a light blue Pinto, and the door handle had fallen off, and he was so cheap he wouldn't get another car, so he had a piece of rope that he would use to close the door tied with. That's what the Razor Crest has become to me in my mind.
If the Mon Calamari could have ratchet straps, they would have put that thing together with ratchet straps.
With ratchet straps. Well, yeah. So it's seen better days. But luckily, he's got some good credit. So he's obviously out of money here because he's not even offering money at this point. He's used it all up in his adventures. And
get for paying squids to fix your ship.
Yeah, took him 1,000 credits to tie it back together.
It tied it back together. True.
Yeah.
He said, "What did he say? What kind of credit does my name have?"
Or is my credit still good here, or something like that? I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, he said, "What kind of credit do I have here?"
Or, yeah.
And
Or my
frankly, I
credit's
was expecting like your money's no good here or something like that. Basically.
Yeah, but they said they worked something out, but
Yeah.
and obviously they were going to because they got something in mind for him.
They do. The plot.
The plot thickens. And then we get that nice little sinister turn to the one alien.
The dog looking shifty-eyed.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a spy.
I'm not a spy at all. I'm not a bad guy. What are you talking about? Who's a bad guy? And then but we find out though that Marshall Dune is doing more than just going after thieves. She's cleaned up the entire town. So Navarro is not the wretched hive of scum and villainy, if you will, anymore. There doesn't even seem to be bounty hunters around anymore. They've gotten out of that business, it seems like, and now you've
It's
got
more of a trader's world.
Well, the bar's a
Yeah.
school now.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
turned the bar into a school. There's an open air market. Like before, there was kind of a market, but it was kind of sleazy. This is nice and clean. Everything.
This is like
open.
Gatlinburg Market.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. It is.
Kind of reminded me of Aladdin.
What's that?
I said it reminded me of Aladdin.
Aladdin. Yeah, yeah.
Aladdin.
There's another good analogy. Yeah.
Another Disney tie in there.
Yeah. Street rat. I don't.
I wonder if we go back through, we'll find anything from Aladdin in there.
Probably.
Well,
But
Ezra
used
Bridger.
as they reuse sets from other films.
Well, go back to Ezra Bridger. They used to call him a loath rat. Was he kind of looked like Aladdin too. So there's all kinds of Disney in there.
It's my arm stretching for that connection there.
Right behind you. Right behind you, sir.
Okay.
Right behind you. Here.
But again, just like no, God, please. We're going to lose any
no.
signal here.
It's Ezra Bridger,
It's Ezra Bridger. He looks just like Aladdin.
aka Aladdin.
Yeah,
Force.
You can hold on to him tonight. Okay.
Oh, you can hold on to him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There's Ezra. So, aka
I'll center frame him.
the,
Ah, drunk.
AKA the Aladdin Jedi. There's gonna be. I just pissed off a lot of people.
Stop.
And but it turns out that not only is she the marshal, but Grief Karga is like the magistrate now. So he's like it's kind of like the mayor, and they're running the whole town, and they're keeping things nice. And he's even let we get reintroduced to the Mithril, which goes all the way back to chapter 1, scene 1, which is the blue guy.
See, I think Mithril. I think the armor from Lord of the Rings.
Oh well, yeah. In Star Wars,
the Mithril.
Mithril.
But he's
How's
back.
that,
But he's back, and apparently
Horatio Sands.
Horatio
Yes,
Sands, yes. Good point, Brian. I forgot about that. But they bring him back, and we find out more about his story. Why it was actually he screwed Grief Karga over, and now he's brought him back, and he has to work off 350 years worth of debt to repay. But he's running the books for Grief, I guess, and taking care
With one eye.
with one eye, which is awesome. Because I thought that was a great tie-in. It was like, hey,
the carbonite
sickness.
vision returning.
Yeah.
According to your
sickness.
notes, there, Hob Solso.
Oh, Hob so slow, yeah. That's what happens when you type quickly. Hob so slow, a.k.a. Han Solo, obviously couldn't see in Return of the Jedi either from hibernation sickness. So
Yeah.
his was temporary, but maybe he's got something a little bit more extensive there.
Then Lion Han Solo took out Boba Fett too.
Yeah, that's right. So Boba Fett's like, son of a bitch. But I don't know about you guys, but this time around, I found the Mithril overall less annoying. What'd you guys think?
He seemed like he fit in. Like he had a purpose. He was a bookkeeper, and it's exactly how he seemed like he fits in there.
Okay, Brian, what did you think?
Yeah, I did. I haven't found him annoying yet. I didn't find him annoying in the very beginning.
I didn't either.
Oh, really? I did.
Or here, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's basically a guy trying to get out of not being turned into whatever fate he has coming to him.
I thought he played the perfect role for him, which is kind of like the coward in the whole situation. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going there. Are you crazy? No way. It was just funny. I thought the comedy worked for the entire scene for the entire episode. So
I like a little farther on, but I really liked his. You want to go out there? There's no handrail.
yes, and that's in the notes. Yes,
Oh my God!
yes.
When we get to that, I'll talk about that later because
It was so funny.
It was awesome to see. Somebody is apparently a big fan of Family Guy too. Because anyway,
Yeah.
but let's talk about going to school here. Baby Yoda finally goes to school. So that like John was talking about earlier, they turned the big bar, into an actual school for kids. And
apparently it's like all ages too.
Yeah.
Seems
Yeah.
like
C-3PO.
yeah, C-3PO,
female C-3PO
up there teaching. And I just thought it was cool. I liked the whole scene. I love the stealing of the cookies with the Force. I thought that was hilarious.
It was the first time like Baby Yoda reached out for food and someone just went no.
Yeah, I was like, and he's like, well, screw you.
Did you see?
Oh, my chicken nuggies.
One of the girls in the back had Ray's hairstyle.
No, I did not see that. Really? No,
Yeah,
I
because
wasn't
it had people checking the timeline to see if that was actually like Ray
oh,
in
if it was,
school.
if it
Yeah,
was
because
Kid
she had the
Ray.
same like triple. She had a triple.
Triple bun.
Triple ponytail.
Huh. I didn't see that. I have to go back and look at that now, just for that, and then I'll work the timeline myself. I don't think it works out, but
It doesn't. They said it's off a little while.
yeah. But anyway, that would be an interest. That would be an awesome Easter egg if that was the case. But yeah. And the other thing I liked about the school scene, I don't know if you guys heard it in the background, but she's talking about the maelstrom, and she was talking about how to navigate the Kessel, which I thought was a cool time.
Oh,
The whole
okay.
time the kids were learning about the physics of the maelstrom and how they have to navigate all this in order to
Nice.
get the Kessel Run, which all comes from Solo,
Yeah.
obviously. So I thought that was a cool tie-in. So, which is pretty neat.
Little fly going around there.
Yeah, he's been. He came out just as soon as I turned the camera on too. So
He likes the
Buzz
lights.
yeah, he likes the lights. Buzz off. I don't know how you got to fly in November, but somehow I found one. So let's move on to the whole plan. So they've got this plan for Mando, and apparently there's an Imperial base on maybe not on the other side of the planet, but not too far from the city. They've actually set up a green zone too, which I thought was very militaristic, kind of cool, feeling like they created this safe zone. But they found this Imperial base supposedly. What did you guys think about that? Because I was like, how did Greef Karga not know about this base last time?
They briefly mentioned it. Like there was one line where they said like when the raid came by, like at the end of season 1, they said that's where they all came from.
So I don't know, Brian. What did you think about that? Did you find that odd, or did you just think it was they kept it secret kind of thing?
Well, I think that it was a secret. I think that maybe they thought it was a deserted post to begin with. And nobody really went there because it was in the lava runs as well.
Yeah.
So they probably didn't think there was that much stuff out there. But come to find out, it's an active civil, active base, which I thought was kind of played back to the the Death Star 2.
Yes.
Where it's just being built. Oh no, it's fully operational. You know what I mean? Like ooh, they've hit it well.
It's a little deeper. A little deeper going on. So yeah, they
got some true hydrothermal or hydroelectric energy going on there.
Yeah,
geothermal energy.
Geothermal, yeah, definitely going on. Some serious geothermal going on. All right, so let's move on to the actual assault on the base.
The siege itself.
The siege itself, yes. You're right. That's what I should have called it, the siege itself. So the Mithril, again, good comic relief throughout all this whole thing. I love it. Here it comes. So there's no safety rail there.
They send him out, and it's basically like the tractor beam control in New Hope.
New Hope, yes.
But yeah, he has to like go there, but like straight underneath is like the pile of lava, and he says there's no guardrails or anything here, and I was just like, thank you. The Star Wars universe is not OSHA compliant.
Not even the Imperials are not at all.
And they didn't even like when Episode 7 came around and Han Solo just falls into a giant chasm.
Empire has no.
What the hell?
Empire doesn't care if you live or die. You're just a number. So yeah,
that is not a very good workflow.
No, it is not.
It's like that is not very efficient, Empire.
No. The OSHA would be, if there was such a thing in Star Wars as OSHA, they would be all over the Emperor's ass.
I honestly would love to see a Star Wars OSHA spinoff right now.
But I thought it was a great callback. I think it's even a callback to Family Guy of the Blue Harvest special, where they're like, the guys that are standing right next to the Death Star beam are like, you ever notice there's no guardrail here?
Yeah.
You just fall. So I think it's just them making fun of themselves and nodding to themselves.
I think I might have an idea as to why they never put guardrails on anything. Because imagine the hell, like back in 1977 and 1983, it would have taken to crop all like an extra tiny little line out.
Yeah.
Because like they didn't have the rotoscoping that we have now.
That we have today.
So
yeah, there you go. That's very true.
Also, the stormtroopers couldn't see for shit through those helmets. Can you imagine them running into those guardrails and falling over anyway?
Yeah, they're already like hitting their heads on the blast doors.
Yeah.
So we did this study. The Imperial did the study. And we found out that stormtroopers are less to die without guardrails. So
you know what? Given this mindset of productivity the Empire has, they were destined to fail.
Uh-oh. Brian's going to freeze land.
Oh, no! He's frozen! And on the perfect picture, too.
Yeah,
poor guy.
Brian. Hold on, Brian. I'll get you back. There's a poor network connection. Oh, man.
We've got to
2
get you
weeks
like
in a row. We did really well with the first tips. There he is.
There he is.
You
get you like a spare router up here or something.
I got one. But
you do.
Hey, I'm back again.
You're back.
Hey.
Fantastic.
What were you saying, B? Sorry.
I wasn't saying anything. You were saying something. You went.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add about the guardrail?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So they find let's talk about the big one of the big reveals, the big deep things, and that's when they come across the lab on their way out. It seems like, even before they even got there, the Imperials at the controls, they were trying to purge drives because the alerts were going off in the base, and they're just trying to cover their tracks. So, it's super secret. Whatever they're working on has got the highest level of secrecy within the Empire, and it's this new thing with the Empire too of, screw it, if we're going to go down, we're going to go down, kill it all. Kind of thing. What did you guys think of that whole scene where they even shoot the controls on the panel at one point too?
It's exactly what a military operation would do when they're trying to cover sensitive information.
Yeah,
and especially when they
it's
discover
the same thing that the Chinese did in Texas. when they started burning all their files and stuff.
Oh, you mean for that? Yeah, that they had like a what was that? Like a government center or something? Yeah.
Yeah. And they started burning all that stuff when they when they found out they were spying on everybody before they got sieged. They put everything in trash cans and started burning. It's the same thing. Blow it up, you know.
Keep our secret secret kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was. I just found that real interesting. That tells you right away that we're about to get a big reveal. At least I thought anyway. And so as we come to these pods that and I got pictures. I need to remember to use that. So the pod,
that looks so much better than the one you have on your screen.
Yeah, I know. The one I did on my screen I actually took with my phone.
The pixelation is just perfect.
Yeah. So,
I was like, "What is this? Is this a water sonar picture?"
It's
look
the
at the
original.
baby.
It's the original poster of Shape of Water.
Yeah.
right. So, but as this is all going on in the background, you hear that methodical Snoke music, right? Which is just that you know, it's that whole thing that, and if you ever go back to the actual soundtrack for episode 7, The Force Awakens, it's called Snoke, and you can listen to the whole thing, but most of it's just like that ominous kind of down deep chant drawl, you know.
Yeah.
Almost like a didgeridoo kind of sound. But anyway, so that's my first hint here, that they're hinting that this is somehow related to
Are we
Snoke.
on Jimmy Fallon?
Yes, we are. I'm going to just keep throwing graphics on top of graphics.
Well, no. I mean, like you threw out didgeridoo. I thought maybe that was one of those words. Like, have you seen that Jimmy Fallon stuff where he has NFL players throwing random words in the interviews, and then they watches them do it?
No, can't say.
That's what I thought we were doing there with the didgeridoo.
Oh no.
Throw didgeridoo in there.
No Pee Wee Herman's secret word of the day or anything.
Yeah.
No, nothing like that.
I got a Gravity Falls joke in there somewhere.
But if
Riboflavin.
But if you look side by side here, you look at the pod monster. That's what I'm going to call her, test tube Snoke. And then you look at a picture of Snoke, you can kind of see there's the ears kind of sticking out. The crack in the head is similar.
I still feel like I'm looking at an ultrasound. The mothers, of course. Oh, I see my baby. I'm like, what a beautiful
what I
Snoke.
think was
Sure.
What a beautiful Snoke.
Yeah,
there.
what I thought was most prevalent there is the crack in the skull.
Yes.
And that's kind of what did it for them. And then you listen and you hear the Snoke music. You're like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, it may not be Snoke. It may be in the first attempt at a Snoke or some kind of Snoke thing.
A snook.
A Snoke.
A Snoka.
A Snoka.
A snoka.
A Snoka. Snoke V1 version 1.0.
Well, we have. Was it Sasha Banks there? Why not Jimmy Snuka?
Jimmy Snoka. Snoka is Snoke.
Jimmy Snoka.
Snoka.
Jimmy Snoka.
Superfly.
But yeah, I think it looks. So there are some real similarities. You got the music, you've got the thing in the head, the ears sticking out. The nose to me looked a little bit like Palpatine here, but I can't really make it any bigger than I did. But
didn't they originally didn't we find out that Snoke was actually was who they were trying to look like Palpatine anyway?
Like they were like an early version of a Palpatine clone or something. That's what they were hinting at anyway. They never were, like most things in Rise of Skywalker, they leave it open.
There's going to be a lot of retconning in this next couple seasons, aren't there? To make up for so many plot holes.
And that's what Filoni's known for, though, because if you go back and watch the whole Clone Wars series, it actually makes Episode 3 even better than it ever could have been on its own. Because it adds depth and character and development and all that. So I got a feeling that's what they're doing here. But so that all those rumors you've heard about them rebooting the sequel trilogy, I don't think there's anything to that. I think this is going ahead. You know, that they're going to go with what they got. And they're going to do the same thing. They're going to it's not so much retconning as it is filling in the blanks, so to speak.
Yeah, making it fit.
Yeah.
Fixing plot holes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah, I can't deny it. You know?
Oh, did you say plot holes or potholes?
Yeah, it's gonna. That's exactly what it always feels like whenever you drive over those.
Yeah,
right.
Fix it.
It's the bottom. It's the dip in 42 there, where they can't seem to fix it ever.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Disney had $200 million to throw away for the punchline about the exhaust port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they fixed that though with
with $200 and
Rogue One,
just threw out a movie. It's like, oh, fine, you want to make fun of our exhaust port there? We'll throw a whole fucking movie at you.
I had no problem with Rogue One. I thought that was great. But
It's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
If you like to watch everyone you get to know die.
Yeah, well, it's a tragedy, but hey,
Life's full of tragedies.
it is. It is. So let's move on to the next part of this, which is the Dr. Pershing hologram message, which is our cloning doctor from season 1. He's the guy that comes out with the stuff. He's perfectly healthy and he's all excited and stuff. And we know he's a clone scientist because he still has that patch on his arm, which is from Camino, which is where all the cloning was done, which they pulled from Clone Wars and made the connection last season with. We did. But he's back, and this time the Mithril just kind of hacks the system and pulls up a half of a hologram message. And to me, it kind of sounds like they're experimenting with cloning, like they're trying to synthetically give Force abilities to people by injecting them with the blood of other Force sensitives. In this case, being Baby Yoda, because he says they've run out of blood. And
well, didn't they say that some of them rejected it?
Yeah,
like the body rejected it.
Yeah,
that's been
some
their
rejected
problem.
it. And then he said, what was the other thing he said? The Mando said, well, that must be an old message because
they thought he was
Gideon's
dead. They
dead.
thought Gideon's dead.
And he goes, no, this is 3 days ago.
It was like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Aha.
The plot thickens, and suddenly Mando's like, fuck.
Okay, he's still alive.
I gotta go get the kid. But yeah, so this is interesting. So I also like how they referred to midichlorians. They didn't even bring up the word because it's been so controversial.
It's such a sensitive topic.
The M count.
The M count.
The M count. We won't find another M count, but it's Baby Yoda's blood that they've been trying to. And he said he took all he could without killing the kid, and he only got like a small amount.
Which would probably explain why he's so hungry.
It might be. You're right. That's a good point. He's trying to rebuild all his blood cells.
Yeah.
I would call them red blood cells, but I don't think he has red blood.
Get into a whole other sense of science sci-fi there.
But if we throw in some of the EU, though, every time they've tried to clone a Jedi, whether it's in the EU novels or in video games, it's very rarely successful. Like, it's either they come out physically mutated or they come out mentally screwed up in their head. And it's only like a 1% chance out of millions of tries that they finally get it to work. And when they do, like I said, they're either like Snoke, which is
still on the screen there.
Still on the screen. Thank you. Who's physically
I was gonna say,
handicapped.
you guys are starting to look like the closet from ET.
Let me put up a picture of the Terminator.
Like all I see is the 2 heads inside of all these toys.
Right. Visual clutter.
Or they end up mentally, or they're screwed up in their head, so they're either physically disformed or they end up with some sort of they're messed up in the head, like they can't, they're crazy, essentially.
I'd actually hope we get to see one of these crazy, failed experiments.
I would like to see it in live action, or even in cartoon
or at least
form.
just one episode.
Yeah, because they did the first set of novels. They did that whole Heir to the Empire, and those first 3 books they did is about a Jedi who was cloned, and he was crazy. He was nuts, and Thrawn used him. And anyway, it was actually a really good story, and I would love to see. You're right. I would love to see something like that kind of come.
Be a
to
great
fruition.
season 3 episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it would. It really would. So again, it looks like it's maybe an early version of trying to create Snoke, or maybe even the Emperor, because I said like the nose kind of looked like the Emperor, so maybe they're already trying to resurrect Palpatine. I don't know. And then again, like we were talking about, I think Filoni's trying to make Rise of Skywalker better through Mando. So we're going to get the backstory of how they created the Emperor.
Don't drag down Mando with that movie.
It makes sense that he's trying to, because that was like the biggest thing was, wait, all of a sudden we're just going to all of a sudden get that we're cloning Palpatine. Well, now we're getting the little bit of Easter eggs that show that they were trying to clone. Who are they trying to clone? Mm-hmm. Us people who are really diving into this Star Wars stuff, we're figuring this out. But how many people you think didn't figure it out yet? Like I'm gonna guess my dad.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't dive into Star Wars, but we watch and be like, "Ooh, that's neat. Ooh, that's neat." And then like several episodes down the road, and they're gonna go, we just created Snoke or whatever we're trying to. He's gonna go, "Oh, that fits in with this, and then all of a sudden he's like, that makes sense.
Right. Whereas diehards from day one have been going, excuse me, I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Pardon
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Excuse me.
I still hate the movie. I still hate it.
I've
seen it 3 times. I still hate it.
We've been down that road, man. It was, I mean, they tried to cram too much, and they should have made 2 movies out of it. I've said that.
They should have had a freaking Bible.
Been done with it.
You know,
Yeah.
like the way TV series have Bibles.
Yes,
that's what they should have
I
had.
agree. All 3 movies should have had a single, but they didn't do it that way. I have to put that on Kathleen Kennedy, but anyway, we won't go down that dark road. So let's go on to escaping the base. I thought the fly out by Mando I thought was cool with the lava underneath him and the stormtroopers and how he flew
The
off.
jetpack's like really coming in handy in this episode.
Very much so, and he can sure cover a lot of ground pretty quickly too with that thing.
Yeah, they couldn't get in the door initially, and then like he just flies up, just sends the elevator straight down to him.
Yeah, man, he's becoming a full-on Mandalorian, man, with that jetpack.
Just like the title.
And then, of course, we get the cool chase with the Marauder. They're calling it the Marauder, which is basically like the troop transport we've seen, but it's just more beefed up with weapons and stuff. But I thought that was cool through the canyon. That's the thing we saw in the trailer. You know.
So I was going through our intro now. We're out of trailer
Almost.
footage now.
There's one scene that I know of, and I won't give it away because I don't want to spoil anybody. But it's in our intro that they haven't shown yet. So
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's like we're almost out of material.
yeah,
Which makes it seem like we're probably out of material starting next week.
And I think they're trying to keep it a secret because it's only like a 2-second clip, if that, maybe even a second and a half.
Was it that character you guys are all talking about?
No, actually,
No.
It's something else.
Okay.
And I don't want to give anything away.
All right.
We'll talk about it off show, but if you really want to know. But but the other thing I loved about the whole dive scene, did you guys catch it out? The 2 guys are screaming their heads off. And she's just smiling the whole time as the thing's plummeting. They're coming to their death.
Well, because she was a dropship trooper, so she's used to that.
Yeah, she's getting the adrenaline rush. I love that. I was like, man, that's so true to her character.
It's a nice touch. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice touch.
And they land on his speeder.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. He goes, wait, was that my speeder?
Was that my speeder?
Yeah, no, it was the other speeder parked out by the door. What do you think? And then what I love was when they send the speeder bikes, like the exact model of Return of the Jedi speeder bikes, do the same dive too. But again, like a bike trying to go down a steep hill, 2 of them crash immediately.
And I tell you what, I was about this much to give them credit. I was watching it because they're dodging all the shit. I'm like, I was just about to say, wow, they're actually doing really well, and that's when they crash into each other.
I was like,
oh.
But I was fine with that. I was like, that physics, like, you know what? I'm not even gonna say you guys are bad pilots because that's fucking tricky.
That was badass. That was a really cool scene, and somebody thought that out, put some thought and time into that one. What'd you think, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, like John said, it definitely felt like 2 bikes going down, down the side of it, like a steep cliff. Like I can remember doing that as a kid on a BMX bike, and like, you know, it was either me or a friend of mine would, you know, hit a rock the wrong way and go flying over the handlebars or whatnot. Yeah. So I mean, I can only imagine because they're using the hover technology, so and those rocks were jagged. If it was more of a hill, I don't think they would have had a problem. But it was the angles that was kicking. You can see the bikes kicking certain directions.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was badass. It really was. And then I like the explosion at the end because you had the TIE fighters taking off, and then in the background it looked like something out of a Vietnam movie or something because you saw the TIE fighters' wings come up and they're taking off, and then all of a sudden you see this. And I gotta hand it to Carl Weathers. He's the director on this one. He did a really nice job. And
yeah, the like his timing and plotting of that entire chase sequence might be the best action scene we've seen in this show.
Yeah, I say give him another shot at least. Yeah. Maybe even give him a movie. I don't know if I go that far yet, but he's definitely. I thought this episode was really well done.
It was.
No, the only thing I didn't like about the that scene there was the lava came straight up through the base.
Yeah.
But they talked about how that was lava flow canyon. I felt like it needed to also burst out the side into the cavern. You know what I mean? Into the cavity.
See it in the background chasing them or something.
Yeah,
kind of
like not really.
Thing or something. Yeah, I could see that.
Or at the very end when they're coming out there and you see the guy's helmet roll.
Yeah.
all of a sudden you see the lava come over top of the helmet because it's oozing down. I thought that would kind of.
I will say this: that scene you talk about with the helmet, when was it one of the speeder bikers that gets on the Marauder, and he's about to throw a grenade in, and I'm just gonna keep calling him Carl Weathers.
Grief cargo.
He's manning this tail gun, and he finally turns it around, and he aims it right at the guy and blasts, just annihilates him. I was like, that's got to be the most overkill I've seen in any Star Wars thing. I was like, that was beautiful. That's like putting a Death Star to kill one person.
It's like, you're gonna get killed by a grenade and blown up by a cannon.
It's just like the helmet just falls off there. I was
Yeah.
like, there's nothing left of him after that.
Hey, if I'm the guy playing that stormtrooper, I go, hey, at least I went out with frickin' style, man.
It's like, you will not forget this death.
Yeah, my death will live on. Grandiose.
So yeah, after the speeder bikes are taken out, then the TIE fighters are coming out after them. TIE fighters, yeah, you get the feeling like tactically their weaponry, their maneuvering it's gonna handle better than this Marauder.
Oh yeah,
and then right as soon as they leave the canyon, we get a surprise with the Razor Crest.
With the Razor Crest, and we get a nice Top Gun-esque. This guy's a one hell of a pilot. I gotta tell you, the more I watch, the more I go, is this guy is he force sensitive? And I don't want to say everybody in Star Wars is a Jedi because I don't want to. I'm not one of.
Why is everybody a freaking Jedi?
But I'm just saying, I'm like, this guy's got some serious flipping skills. He's taking this old piece of junk, which, by the way, seems to gone from piece of junk to fully restored. So those mechanics did one hell of a job.
Yeah, it was like a restoration. Pit my ride.
Yeah, right. But I mean, he knows how to fly that damn thing, and he flies it really, really well.
I just want him to be a really skilled pilot. I'll leave it at that. Do not give him any force sensitive stuff.
One of my favorite things about this whole thing, this whole scene here, was the fact that after they killed the stormtroopers, it got real quiet, and then you can hear the TIE fighters in the canyon.
Yes.
The low hum,
screeching sound. That
yes,
comes, yes, yes.
That was so. And they're like they're all laughing or whatever. They're like, "Oh, good job, yeah." And you can hear it, and they all freeze, and they're like, "Oh crap."
I do want to say this about the TIE fighters, though. Every time, you got to their lock-on screen, and you heard that and they would fire and hit nothing.
Yes.
I was like, are they programmed to miss it? TIE fighters are worse aims than the stormtroopers.
Well, even Vader missed Luke's by some miracle after.
I was waiting for all of a sudden the Falcon to come in from the side and go, "All right, hit him, let's go home, kid."
You're all clear, kid. Well, instead you got the crest, but yeah,
it's good enough there.
And
I love the crest. Like I said, the vehicles in the ships are just awesome to me to watch. Just do all the maneuvers, like you said, Top Gun and stuff. When he goes up and he kills his engine.
Yes. He does that hold.
Oh yeah.
And they're just he's barrel rolling. I'm like, oh my god, this is like something out of World War I dogfighting or something.
It was so awesome. And then Baby Yoda jumping up and down like he's enjoying it. Oh, it was so fun.
Oh, the Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda's got some bloodlust in him.
I loved it. It was like a roller coaster ride for him. He's like.
And then he throws up.
What else do you do on a roller coaster?
Reminded me of as we're all dads,
Yeah.
When you throw your kid up in the air and they're loving it, and then all of a sudden you stop and then they go,
or
their stomach couldn't handle it.
Or if you're unlucky like me and you're doing it and all of a sudden you're holding your kid like this for just a second and then that happened to me.
I didn't get that one.
I did, yeah. Yeah.
But I did throw it up in the air a good 3 or 4 feet. And
I think I just created an adrenaline junkie with mine. That was all.
You got lucky. I made the mistake of stopping just for a second to see if she was okay, and
yeah, exactly.
And I think usually by that point I've handed her back to my wife, where she's like, "I'll stop throwing her." I was like, "Here you go, you can have her."
But I call it the father baptism. You get pooped on, peed on, threw up on. There's the three. You earn your stripes.
The one thing I do want to say is I like how we see the TIE fighters landed with the wings folded and then they take off and they extend out.
Yep.
That looked a lot cooler than just having them on a rail in Force Awakens.
Yes.
It's because again, between between no railings, between just like killing all your, troopers because whatever, we got more, and the fact that their targeting system seems to be off by a decimal point, there's just not a lot of efficiency with this empire.
No, they go for the it's all fake. It's not all fake, but they go for the look, right? It's all about looking menacing more,
having more than
being precise.
Yeah.
Well, I think John should go with that. To go with that, the reason why they fold down is because of, like, they're on a planet with wind.
I mean, I like that.
So if they stayed up,
Yeah.
it'd kind of blow them over. So that's why when they're in space, they leave them up because there's no need to fold them down.
But
it's badass though. We saw that when we saw.
When we saw him land in the first season.
Yeah.
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 But again, they're flying and
awesome.
the wings are straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
they actually, not to get all nerdy on you guys, but they came up with it's a TIE Fighter something. They gave it a technical designation like a Ranger version, or it's not Ranger, but it's
it's my favorite of the TIE fighters.
Explorer.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like
The TIE Fighter Bronco 2.
It's like a rugged outdoor version of the
LV, the TIE Fighter LV.
The 4x4.
It actually comes complete with Sirius inside.
Yeah. And for those that want to drive slow, there's a white Bronco style.
Yep. Speaking of Star Wars vehicles and characters, let's talk about the X-Wing captain. He's back, and he's investigating the explosion that happened at the base, and Grief doesn't tell him anything. He plays it very coy with him, and I just wonder what is his motivation, because he doesn't tell him the entire truth. He gives him very little information, like he doesn't know anything about it. He doesn't tell him about Mando. When he brings up the Razor Crest, he's like, come on, and they don't know anything pre-Empire. That
the droids
didn't know anything. He's covering for Mando, which I get, but why not tell him about the full-on Imperial base? That's my question to you guys. What do you think?
I just think he was covering for Mando, at least, because it seemed like he wasn't identifying a Razor Crest or having him around, because, as we've seen before, he does kind of have a bit of a warrant out for him in the Republic, so...
Borderline,
yeah.
Okay.
My thought is that he doesn't want Imperial or Rebel forces there.
Yeah, he wants to.
He doesn't want anybody there. So if he says that there was a base here, all of a sudden that they're going to bring in their forces to double check. So now all of a sudden he's going to have that presence there. So as it stands right now, he's in charge of the whole planet.
Yeah.
And it's just work.
Yeah, he's in charge of the whole thing, and then if you start bringing in these other, it's not going to be because what did he tell? He told Mando that he wants that to be like the port stop, the trader's world or trader's port or whatever.
He wanted to be a legitimate trade port, essentially.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what he's going for. So he's not going to get that if he has either one of those presents there on that world.
Right. So that frees him up if he wants to make a nefarious deal with the underworld.
Yeah.
He still can.
The black market.
Yeah. The rebels.
Well, he could sell that Marauder now to the black market.
He very well could, and he might. Because even Mando questions him at the whole beginning of this thing. He's like, why are you doing this? Are you wanting to get these vehicles for the black market? He's kind of accusing him almost. And that's when they say, no, we're trying to, make the planet safe and whatnot. But, and eventually he gives into it. But it just makes me wonder if Grief, I'm not saying Grief isn't a good guy. I think he is, but he's kind of like Lando. He's not all good. I think he has other intentions maybe at times.
I think it's just if you attract one side, you end up attracting the other.
Yeah.
You
try to keep neutrality. Okay. That's a fair point.
It's all diplomatic, just in order to keep one side out, you have to keep the other side out.
Yeah. And then the captain switches to Car outside, tries to get her to recruit. She says, I'm not a joiner. And then he brings up Alderaan with her. And it's like he's trying to push her buttons.
Yeah, he says they're both from Alderaan.
Yeah, almost like a detective would, like an interrogation, good cop, bad cop almost, except he's only one cop. But he's pushing her buttons, and then he puts down, I don't know what he puts down. Did you guys think, I thought it was a transmitter at first, but the more I looked at it, it almost looked like an old school badge. But
like a metal
It was.
medallion,
It was a metal
or something. Yeah.
Is that what
I think it was.
That's what it looked like.
I think it was it was like the medal for the Battle of Alderaan kind of thing.
Oh,
like,
really?
you know what I mean? Like in memory of, and he said, for all you lost or whatever.
Yeah.
because she says she lost everyone.
Yeah.
So maybe it was something like similar to that, to like, I feel you, just so you don't feel like you're all alone in this
Right.
kind of thing. I really wanted him to say, "Okay, I see you." That's one of his most famous lines from Jane's Convenience.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh God, that'd been
Took
hilarious.
that from the Navi.
Yeah, it would have been so hilarious if he brings that in from his other TV show and he says, "Okay, I see you." It's like, oh.
All right. So the other thing I thought it might be a beacon or something. Maybe that's how she gets a hold of him in the future or something. Like it's a transmitter
Could be.
or something. I don't know. But it almost looked like I kept looking at it and I'm like, it almost looks like an old like sheriff badge or something. The way the shape, I don't know.
I think it's in tune with the Western theme motif that the show's got going on. I think it's more like that.
Yeah,
It's like their tin.
her.
It's the tin badge or whatever. Just
She has the authority of the
remembering
Republic
or something. Yeah,
or something like that.
Or maybe it's a tracker, and it's just Scott.
yeah. Speaking of trackers,
And I also like how the captain pointed out one thing real quick because we're going a little long, but that he reveals to her, he says, "There's something going on out here." He says the core worlds don't necessarily believe that the Empire is still around, but there is something going on around here, and I need local help with that, which I thought was an interesting point. That he's onto it, that he's trying to figure it out. He just doesn't have any support right now for it with the New Republic, I guess, which I thought was kind of a grander hint of what's going on in the grander galaxy politically. Not that I want to go diving back into politics again, but it kind of gives you an idea, I thought. Just something to point out. All right. So let's switch. Then we switch to the Imperial cruiser, which was awesome to see. Again, that type of ship comes directly out of Rebels. It's kind of like the next step down from a Star Destroyer. These Imperial cruisers, they're a little bit
a
smaller.
star grazer.
Star grazer, yeah. You could call it that.
I was waiting for the license plate in the end.
I break for nobody.
Yep.
It's funny how we all know that. But we get the suspicious mechanic. Obviously, he's come back. He's like, "Yep, I put a tracker on it." And I thought what was interesting was the Imperial officer says back to him, which I thought was an interesting line, was, "You'll be well rewarded in the new era." New era. So my question to you guys real quick is, do you think this is the new era something under Moff Gideon, or do you think Moff Gideon, her, and this whole empire, what's left, is actually part of the beginning of the First Order?
That's what I think it is.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
I think it's the First Order, because I really believe that's Snoke, and I really believe that, you have Moff Gideon. I'm pretty sure we're gonna find some other ones that are all in charge of this, bringing in the new order here.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been planning this whole entire time. And they've found people that will help them for the right amount of money.
Makes sense. John, what do you think?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I think we're seeing the roots of the First Order,
because we're about
start.
I mean, like, timeline wise, we're about like maybe 15 years off.
10 to 11, 12
10,
years
15.
after Jedi, so
But I mean, like, between Jedi and Force Awakens, though.
30 years.
So yeah, we're like about the 15-year, 20-year
We're
mark.
pushing
Yeah.
it, yeah. So now would be about the time you start to see the First Order start to rise from the ashes of the Empire, I would think.
Which
In
there was
some form.
there was one question I was going to ask. From the time that Mando left Navarro the first time to now, how much time has passed?
It's hard
actually,
to
it
say.
really is
Yeah.
because they've established so much on Navarro, and I was like, I thought he was gone like maybe a short time after.
I would say that very little time passes between Chapter 8 and Chapter 9. So it's just, like I said, maybe a year has passed total in my mind, which they said this takes place 10 years after Jedi, so we're probably in year 11, maybe. That's because it seems like it's happening very quickly to me. I don't see a whole lot of time gap. I didn't see anything really change between 8 and 9. Did you guys pick up on anything?
Not really, no.
Okay, so there you go.
I think that was just like the big question I had was like
Yeah,
the timeline between that. Yeah,
I'd say we're probably 11 years, but
Yeah,
still,
I wish they would do like 1 year later.
1 year later.
But 11 years. We've got 19 years before we really see the First Order, and we get into Force Awakens. So, really, a lot of things have to happen before, the First Order has to be established, has to be in place. Snoke has to be known throughout the galaxy. Ben has to turn to the dark side. Blah 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 blah. So really, things have to start happening now, timeline-wise, to build that to that point. So it makes sense to me. So I agree 100% with you guys. So, so let's see.
Well,
what's that?
That might put that girl at that school as Rey.
I'd have to think about it.
Right?
I'll look into it. And
so how old do you think Rey is in the Force Awakens?
I'd say she's no more than 20. That's just my guess.
Okay, so the girl in that one looks to be about 7 or 8.
It's still off by a little bit.
12, 13
years would have to pass. So that would.
But if you're saying that with the Force Awakens, we're 12 to 15 years before that, right? And she's 7. That would make her 19, 20.
But then, what age was she abandoned on Jakku?
That's the other thing. She was like 4, she looked like she was 3 or 4 when she was on Jakku.
Or 5 or 6.
Not to say she didn't leave Jakku and come back. That could have happened too. But
anyway, it's the same haircut. It's just funny.
Yeah,
I sent you guys the pictures.
Okay.
On both messengers, so you can pull them up, Brian, if you want.
Oh, I see it now. Yep, got it. Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it's the exact same hairstyle, obviously, just on a little kid.
Well, speaking of, I think that picture beforehand, we got to bring that up eventually.
Picture beforehand. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to pull them up on your PC, Brian. If you want to screenshot them.
I don't think I can do that while we're broadcasting. I can try.
On Messenger?
We'll see. Hold on. Okay, so let's keep the show moving while we do this real quick. So speaking of Imperial officers, I noticed she looks a lot like. Did you guys ever play Battlefront 2?
Nope.
No.
I didn't either, but there was a a trailer. Now hold up with me, patience.
But it's
Let's speculate on something we haven't played.
Have you guys ever driven a stick and realized how hard it is? Like, no, me neither. Wait, what?
Anyway.
I mean, I know where you're going with it, Brian. I mean, it makes, you're talking about the trailer for the game.
For the game, there was a character in there looked just like her. That was the leader. It was computer animated, obviously. So I got not much, but she was motion captured off a real person. Anyway, I don't remember the character's name, but she was they were telling the story of the Battle of Endor from the Imperial's perspective, and she was the leader of something. I think it was called Inferno Squadron. It looked a lot like her. That female.
Leave a comment below and let us know who we have forgotten. That's the one in the top left corner there. Thank you, Brian, for zooming in and circling that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second. I'll take a minute. But yeah, hold on.
Darth PA.
Yeah, I sent you that one, and I sent the.
So, for those of you playing the home game, I'll just put it over top of me and put it
over top of me, please.
Over the top of both of us. So if you look back here, and I'm going to make it even bigger so you can see.
Yeah.
So
make it bigger.
It looks like somebody in the editing department and the photographer. They decided to go with this shot for some reason. But as you can see, a little faux pas there in the background. This is actually the very rare ever seen Imperial Guard known as the Lucasfilm assistant in his t-shirt, jeans,
the
and
urban
watch.
trooper.
Urban Trooper Darth PA.
Random white guy. It's in the credits. Look it up. But we just thought we'd point that out. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious, actually. I was like, really? Wow. Come on, guys. You do a little better than that.
At least it wasn't a cup of Starbucks coffee.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and hold on a second. I'll bring up the right picture, too, real quick here. And then
so we could all see the hairstyle that
we're talking
Hank's
about,
talking
about here.
Yeah, top left there.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So there's potentially a chance. Anyway, I'm not saying because I haven't had time to research it. At least there's the Rey hairstyle anyway on a girl that was in Yoda's class, Baby Yoda's class. So there you go. So that takes care of everything. Now we can
Those are the jokes we were talking about.
Those are all the jokes. So everybody's in on the joke.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see that guy at the back of the
I just
hallway.
want to see if that got through. If that really got through, somebody's getting fired at Lucasfilm.
No.
Anyway,
Like I said, personal experience. Blame the AD. Blame the first AD.
somebody's getting fired.
It's like, I think we need to go back and redo that. No, we got too many scenes. Moving on.
Like, wait, who's this character called Grip Boy? He's played by self.
Grip Boy, a random white guy.
Well, I was gonna say if you could tell that arm is just full of like resentment and alcohol, then that's a grip.
Yeah. Well, I thought so. If you look at the hand, he's like almost clutching a fist.
Yep. Probably a grip. When the fuck are they gonna rap?
All right, we're over an hour. Let's keep moving.
Oh,
all right.
they're about to get into some theories here.
Yeah,
and
I'm
stuff.
about to rant again. Okay, so we get to the final shot of the scene. They go that imperial officer, which may or may not be from Inferno Squadron, walks into the and talks to Gideon, and Gideon says, "Well, we'll be ready." He says, "We got the tracker on the ship," and he's like, "We'll be ready with them." And of course, in the room is two walls of what appears to be
Darth Vader's.
dark troopers.
I saw online somebody said that the walls were full of Darth Vader's.
Darth Vader's, yeah. So, what could these dark troopers be? Well, when I looked up Dark Trooper online, there's two versions or two possible versions. You have the Dark Trooper and then you have the Shadow Trooper. Here's the Dark Trooper. The Dark Trooper came in 3 phases. The first phase here, as you can see, was just a droid, straight up droid. The second phase looked a little bit more like a stormtrooper, but it was mostly just a droid. Whereas in phase 3, where they only made a few of these, was actually like an exosuit or almost like a Iron Man suit. So the guy would get in it and it would be all
So like G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe the movie.
Yeah, G.I. Joe Annihilation.
so
The G.I. Halo suits.
so that's one. So that's one possibility. So that's one possibility of what they have going on there. The other possibility is what was known as the Shadow Trooper. The Shadow Trooper was a regular stormtrooper that was put into a special suit of armor, and then they would inject them with midichlorians or something that would stir up temporary force abilities in them, and they weren't even that strong. But they also carried red lightsabers. This is all from EU and whatnot. So and stuff that's not canon. What's that?
So that would be awesome.
So I tend to think here's my thoughts on the whole situation, and I tend to think that we're gonna get maybe a little bit of both. I think you're gonna see, because obviously we see in the scene they're very robotic looking, but I think you're gonna have real people inside, and because they're already messing with trying to inject people with force abilities or trying to clone somebody with force abilities, that they've maybe found a way to temporarily give people minor force abilities.
Drones are better.
And when you think about the story in a greater context, to even take it a step further, I didn't put this in the notes, so my apologies, but so you've got Mando, you've got Cara Dune. We just saw them cut through stormtroopers like butter, right? Like they just went through and they wiped out pretty much. It was a challenge, but it wasn't super hard, right? So you're about to introduce Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano is the equivalent of a Jedi Master. You're about to introduce a Jedi Master, and you have to create some sort of a threat for her. So I believe that these robots, whether they're robots or I think they're going to be some sort of a cyborg combination, like Darth Vader's, like you said, Brian, except they'll have limited force abilities. But instead of one, she's going to take on a small army or platoon of them. Because you got to have some sort of a threat to go up against a Jedi Master like Ahsoka Tano. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'll throw it back to you guys.
Well, I really like the Shadow Trooper with the lightsabers. I really like that idea better than these droid clone exoskeleton things. I think the pumping them full of the midichlorian, the M count.
The M count.
Pumping them with that to, like you said, not so much give them force abilities, but to kind of protect them from the force. Because I was reading online that a lot of people think that the reason why the stormtroopers are so horrible at shot is because of the Force is able to adjust their shot just enough that they miss, and that by doing this, the Shadow Troopers will have better aim and see more, like more menacing because they don't actually miss because they're not being affected by the Force.
Or they'll even have minor Force powers. They'll at least have Jedi reflexes. They'll be able to do minor things, but I don't think you're going to see like Force choke or anything from them, or definitely not Force lightning or anything of that nature. But you will see minor. They will be able to fight with a lightsaber, more than likely. That's just my guess. I could be totally wrong, and they could just be straight up droids. But to me, it just seems like with everything they've introduced, especially in this episode, why not? You know, why aren't? I don't even know when we're going to see this. This might be 2 episodes before we see them again. That are just letting you know it's there, but it could be next episode as well. But I think, like I said, I think you have to have a threat for you're introducing as the equivalent of a Jedi Master, even though she's not a Jedi anymore, into the story. Somebody has that level of power, so you have to give something, and there has to be some sort of a menacing threat or something to her. So to me, it just makes sense. So. Not to spoil it for anybody, but that's just I could be completely wrong too. I have no insider information whatsoever. So,
yeah, 100% pure speculation.
So tune in.
Tune in when we prove him right.
Was Willenbrig right or wrong? You were wrong, dude. You were so wrong. Worst podcast ever. Ever. All right, guys. So we're running real long, but let's get into final thoughts and grades. Brian, go ahead and start this week.
I'm gonna definitely give it an A.
Okay.
I enjoyed a lot of the scenes here. I almost borderline A plus. I really enjoyed the interaction, like I said, with Baby Yoda becoming more active, becoming more like a character. You had the stormtroopers in it. You had the chase scene. You had the TIE fighters. You had, sneaking up on, like I can remember playing, with those kind of toys in like the creek bed behind my house, and that's how you kind of envision it, is like that the whole squadron is sneaking up on the people who think they're okay, and all of a sudden then all hell breaks loose, and
I'm
then
gonna throw this pebble at you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just. It was a good episode, and then seeing the Raven Crest in full form, almost like it was restored instead of just being repaired. It felt like it was restored.
Yes, I did too.
It all fell right that A plus range for me.
Cool. I'm also going to give this one an A to an A plus. It's had all the adventure of a normal episode, but they went deep. We took a super deep dive into the Force, into cloning, into dark side. Not so much maybe Sith magic kind of dark side stuff, but we definitely took a medical view, like a scientific. Like they're trying to break the Force down into scientific terms so that they can manipulate it and use it. Opens up all kinds of possibilities for all kinds of cool stuff, and then obviously throwing in the dark trooper or the shadow trooper or some combination thereof back into this canon, and just to see what that's going to be and what that's going to be like, and does it feed into Moff Gideon? Does Moff Gideon want to be Force sensitive? Is that why he's in all this? Is he a clone himself? How does all this stuff work? And how's it all going to play out? It just adds. The adventure itself was fine, but to add all that, especially when we thought we were going to get Ahsoka and we didn't, for those of us who did, it was a great payoff. This was a fantastic episode, so absolutely an A for me. Gianni?
Yeah, A as well, because like I was saying at the beginning of the show, it felt like a side quest. It felt like a very fun side quest, but every step that it took along the way kept building into this larger universe and this larger storyline, which made it more rewarding. And on top of that, we've got a great chase scene at the end. We've got some funny moments. Like, there's not one moment of the episode that I think ever misses. Like,
that's a good point.
The only thing I had, like, and it's a minor nitpick, which was like what I was saying before about the timelines, like how much time has passed between we first left Navarro and he's come back to Navarro and all this. It was like they've established that town quite quickly, actually. Yeah. But No, again, like I said,
Did you see the statue of IG-11?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah,
it was in the center of the
Nice.
square. IG-11.
That's
outside
nice.
the bar there.
That's a nice
Cool.
touch. But no, yeah, like I said, like it does what a good show should do, which is has a good storyline for the episode, but ties it into like an overall storyline as well. So it's fun. It was a good episode, and yeah.
Yep, and let's give Carl Weathers another shot at.
Yes, Carl Weathers should direct another
shot.
episode.
Yeah. So I like it. I like his style.
Yeah, we should get. It looks like actors should be directing the shows more. Taika Waititi, Bryce Dallas Howard, Carl Weathers, like they're the ones hitting all the right notes for these.
You had to do that. We had a great episode going in. You had to go and spoil it. Get it off. Turn it off. Horrible. Terrible. I'll tell you what's not terrible, though, is where you can find, if you like this show and you want to find more of us, which is not terrible, I promise you, go to www.the4midwestguys.com. Again, that's www.the4midwestguys.com. There's links to everything there to follow, like, and subscribe. All of the episodes are listed in chronological order on the main page, and then there's individual links for individual shows like this one. You click and just get the order for the entire show, both seasons now. Or if you just want to go to Facebook, it's facebook.com/4 Midwest Guys. At Twitter, it's @4 Midwest Guys. Egg Zone, or Brian, where can they find you? Sorry.
They can find me at Egg Zone.
That's at Stardust and Twitter. You can find me on Stardust and Twitter at bwilly1977. You can find all of our behind the scenes stuff on Instagram at the _4 Midwest _guys. Good old fashioned email. Drop us an email at the _4 Midwest Guys at gmail.com. And of course, the thing we're pushing this year and last year is the fan voicemail line. And if you call 1-859-363-5952, you'll hear a nice little recording from me. Let us know your name, where you're from, and what you're calling about. And if we like it a lot, especially on this show, if you got something about the Mandalorian you want to talk about, or if you want we got a great comment, you will find yourself on the air. And I know also right now, and I'll turn it over to Johnny for a real quick second. I know John is looking for suggestions for his. I believe you're thinking about bringing about movie
masochism. Yes,
Go ahead.
watching more awful movies. I did like 3 of these episodes so far. I had a good time with them so far. I'm
How was 27 Dresses?
haven't watched that one yet. But no, like if I get a suggestion, I'll make some time. I'll make a whole episode for it, and maybe I'll torture one of you guys with it if I feel like it would be fun.
Manos was enough, dude. I'm still trying to recover.
Dude,
I'm still trying to recover.
I actually ended up seeing a movie worse than Cats last year. Like everyone thinks that Cats is like the worst thing they've ever seen, and no, you all haven't seen The Haunting of Sharon Tate. So
that just sounds bad. Anyway.
Oh, on so many levels. But yes, I am looking.
The Haunting of Sharon Taint.
Taint.
Sharon Tate, the person that was murdered in the 60s by Manson's cult.
How do you screw something like that up? I really
They found a way. They found a way. I could go into it, but this is a Mandalorian episode, so.
There you go.
But no, if you guys have any suggestions, I also enjoy watching a bunch of terrible movies. I might torture these guys with some of them as well. Feel free to call in, leave a message on any of the aforementioned social media, and let me know, how would you like to torture me? Is there something out there that I maybe haven't seen I might want to do an episode of? Because I'm considering doing some Neil Breen episodes, which if you guys think Manos is bad...
Never even heard of it.
If you don't know who Neil Breen is, you will probably think higher of Manos.
Wow, that's a bold statement. That's a bold statement. All right, guys, so if you got any ideas for John and you want to see him tortured, then please send this in again.
Have at it.
Make sure you contact us real quick. I'll put it back up, 1-859-363-5952. All right, gentlemen.
Bring it on, everyone. Come on.
It was an awesome episode, awesome week, awesome podcast. John, I want to thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, B. Will. I almost called you B. Willie.
You did call him B.
Bauer
Willie.
with his
Well, I'm not
voice.
B. Willie. I'm Bacon Bauer.
And you only froze up once today.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
It is. It's great.
Especially for going long, too.
Yeah, no carbonite tonight. All right, and I'm your host, B. Willie, saying, may the force be with you. always.